Ever feel like you're going all in, giving something absolutely everything, but it's still like hitting a wall?
I think we've all been there.
Right. Like maybe trying too hard is actually what's messing things up. It's weird, right?
It's counterintuitive for sure.
But that's exactly what we're getting into today, this whole idea with Kazuo Inamori. Fascinating guy.
Yeah, Inamori's interesting because he's not like just another business guru, This is someone who built two Fortune 500 companies from nothing.
Exactly. So he's not just talking the talk.
He walked the walk, built an empire, then turned around and was like, hold on, I learned something kind of surprising.
Okay, so what's the big secret? Spill the tea.
Basically, Inamori believed that sometimes it's actually over effort that trips us up. Like we're trying to force something and it backfires.
So instead of getting us closer to what we want,
it pushes it further away.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing it. But where do we even start unpacking this whole over-effort thing?
Well, Inamori talks about a bunch of stuff, but maybe let's start with something everyone's heard. Persistence. Never give up, right? Push through those walls.
Oh yeah, 110% heard that one before.
Exactly. But he uses this analogy of climbing a mountain. You decide on that summit and just go no matter what.
Makes sense, right? Set your goal, go for it.
But what if the path is messed up? Landslide up ahead, who knows? Inamori saying real persistence, it's not just about muscle.
There's got to be something more.
It's knowing when to adapt, when to be flexible, when to be like, nope, got to go around.
That actually reminds me of this presentation I had to give at work like a while back. I totally over-prepared, stayed up late, practiced. I even made these cue cards, so detailed.
Oh, wow.
And then I get up there, I froze. Totally blanked. It was like all that prep, and I was so stuck on the plan, I couldn't roll with it when things went off script.
Methods.
And I realized now I was trying to control every little thing. I forgot to, just connect, let it flow.
Right, that fear of messing up. It makes us want to control everything. Inamori tells this story. It's like a farmer who keeps digging up his seeds every day.
To see if they're growing. Oh my gosh, that's me with my houseplants.
Is it alive? Is it working?
Yes.
But all that worry, it doesn't make things sprout faster. If anything, it probably just messes with the natural way of things.
So we should just do nothing.
No, not at all. It's not about that. But it ties into this whole other area, finding your purpose.
Oh yeah, that feeling of like needing to know your big why, it can be a lot.
We feel this pressure, right? Like we've got to have it all figured out. This is my grand purpose in life. But, and this is a big one, Inamori thought, that feeling, that desperate search, it might be the thing stopping us from seeing the meaning that's already there.
Hold on. So you're saying trying so hard to find our purpose might be why we're missing it? How does that work?
He thought true meaning usually doesn't come in some big dramatic moment. It's in the everyday stuff.
So it's like we're so busy looking for our lost keys that we don't even notice they've been on the table the whole time.
Exactly. Sometimes it's about letting go of the searching and just being present right here, right now with what we're doing. In the small stuff, connecting with the world, creating. That's where the meaning is.
It's like we get so caught up in making the perfect life, we miss the good stuff that's already happening.
It's so true. And Inamori, he wasn't just talking about the big existential stuff either. He saw this over-effort thing everywhere. He gives this example, this artist who spends years getting ready.
Oh yeah, the finest brushes, the perfect paints.
Studying every technique.
But never actually paints anything.
Exactly. So busy prepping for the masterpiece, they never actually, create it.
Oh man, that's me though. Like, gotta have the perfect notebook, the perfect music, the perfect coffee before I can even write.
What happens then?
I end up on social media or organizing my desk drawers, anything but the actual work.
Which, if you think about it, that's over effort too, right? Avoiding the thing you're trying so hard to do.
It's true. But you know what's wild? Inamori, Mr. Successful Entrepreneur guy, he was big on rest, on balance.
Which you wouldn't expect, right? You'd think it'd be all hustle all the time.
All right, grind.
But he saw how that burned you out. Pushing too hard, you get diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Inamori believed in working hard for sure, but he also knew you got to step back, recharge.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. And not just physically sleep, food, that stuff, but mental rest too. Emotional. Disconnect from work. Go be in nature. Do a hobby.
Give your mind a break from the constant doing.
Yes.
Okay, so there's this theme, I'm seeing it. Whether it's our purpose, our careers, even just daily stuff. It's not about how hard we go, it's finding that sweet spot. effort, but ease too. Is that Inamori?
100%. He thought real success is not about forcing ourselves into some box. It's aligning with how things already are.
Finding the flow, where it's almost like effortless effort.
Yes. And think about it. When we're in that flow state, that's when the best stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
The creative breakthroughs, the times we're truly ourselves. And I'm already saying, tap back into that.
Okay, but how? How do we actually do that? Find this alignment thing.
It's about paying attention, he'd say. Noticing those times when it does feel easy, when you're in the flow. Ask yourself, what's different right now? What feels good, natural?
So being present, noticing those little shifts when things click.
Yes, and then being willing to adjust. If it's a struggle, if you're forcing it, that's a sign. Maybe change direction, maybe delegate, maybe just take a break.
It's kind of freeing when you put it that way, that we don't always have to be pushing, striving. That sometimes the best thing is to just let go a little.
And this goes for everything, work, relationships, even, try and be a better person. Inamori uses this example, someone who's so focused on being good, so strict that they become kind of rigid.
Oh yeah, like they lose the compassion, the understanding, because they're so busy trying to be right.
Exactly. And he's reminding us, true goodness, it comes from within. You don't force it. It's about your actions matching your values, like an inner compass.
It's like when you're trying too hard to impress someone, it's almost worse, But just being yourself, that's when you connect. So this whole aligning thing, letting go of the forcing, it helps us live better, more authentically.
That's what Inamori's getting at. And where else this pops up? Our obsession with multitasking.
Oh man, don't get me started. My to-do list is miles long. Always bouncing between things, try and do it all. It's exhausting. Inamori talk about that.
He does. He compares it to like trying to light two fires at the same time. You're spread so thin, neither one really gets going. That scattered energy, that's what he's warning about. He thought focusing on one thing at a time, resisting that urge to be everywhere, we actually get more done with less effort.
It's so counterintuitive though. Everything's telling us to do more, be more all at once. So how do we do less without becoming like lazy?
That's the thing, right? It's not about doing less, period. It's aligning what we do with what feels natural to us, joyful, effortless even.
Finding that flow state where you're so into it, time disappears. You're like, whoa, how long was I doing that? But it felt easy.
Yes. And think about it. Those are usually the times we do our best work, right? The creative stuff, the authentic stuff. That's Inamori saying, get back to that.
This has been amazing. Really makes you think about, well, everything. Before we wrap up, any last bit of Inamori wisdom to leave folks with?
I think he'd want you to ask yourself, what if the real key to getting what you want isn't about pushing, but about becoming so in tune with yourself that your actions just naturally lead you there?
Whoa. So not giving up effort entirely, but shifting it. From striving to aligning, forcing to flowing, like we become the river instead of trying to swim upstream all the time.
Perfectly said. And maybe, just maybe, that's how we unlock the good stuff, the success, the fulfillment, all of it.
That's amazing. All right, I'm going to go find my flow, but thanks for diving into this with me. And for everyone listening, we hope this inspires you to find a little more ease, a little more flow in your own life. Until next time.